Today, I want to speak about our hair in the sense of what it needs, essentially, and really what it does not need. This video is gonna launch into my series about protective styling. It's so much to be said about protective styling, and I want to also debunk a lot of myths in this series. Not necessarily this video, but I'm gonna go into different aspects of our hair's health and what it means to actually protect the hair. But today I want to speak about just the basics of why our hair needs to breathe. A lot of times we go into these protective styles and we assume that because we're not dealing with our hair like it's not exposed, that it's being protected. And that could not be further from the truth. I want to go over some of the basic things that our hair need, essentially our hair follicle. Hey, welcome to another video. Welcome to the Bajo channel. This is the home of self-care, beauty, wellness, and any and everything that'll help you to become the most empowered version of you. Today, I want to speak about our hair in the sense of what it needs, essentially, and really what it does not need. This video is gonna launch into my series about protective styling. It's so much to be said about protective styling, and I want to also debunk a lot of myths in this series. Not necessarily this video, but I'm gonna go into different aspects of our hair's health and what it means to actually protect the hair. But today I want to speak about just the basics of why our hair needs to breathe. A lot of times we go into these protective styles and we assume that because we're not dealing with our hair like it's not exposed, that it's being protected. And that could not be further from the truth. I want to go over some of the basic things that our hair need, essentially our hair follicle. Your follicle is like the root of your hair shaft. The shaft of the hair, right, is what you see. The follicle is the root, is at the root of your hair, and that is what feeds the health. Whereas the shaft itself doesn't necessarily need oxygen for it to breathe, but your follicle does. The follicle is what actually feeds that growth, the health of the hair, and just that vibrancy that we want our hair to have. So I'm going to just explain to you a few reasons without geeking out. I'm going to explain to you why our hair really do need oxygen. And we don't really think about our hair in that sense, but it does. And when it doesn't get appropriate oxygen, it does some really, really strange things, and it can frustrate you. What I wanted to begin this conversation with is to let you know that your follicle is like one of the most rapid growing cells in your body. And we need this oxygen in our follicles to even fuel hair growth. A lot of times we think that if we use certain products or a lot of this product or less of that product, our hair is going to grow. As long as you are alive, your hair is going to grow. How it grows is another story. If your hair follicle is not receiving the appropriate oxygen that it needs, it can stifle its growth. And you're thinking that something is wrong, like something's wrong with my hair's not growing, it doesn't seem to grow. Your hair may not be getting enough oxygen. And when I say your hair, I'm talking about the follicle. The hair, the visible part of the hair that you see doesn't need oxygen because it's really all your hair is like keratin. It's kind of like it doesn't need oxygen. I want to say it's dead in the sense that it doesn't need the oxygen, but what's fueling that is your follicle, which needs oxygen. And a lot of times we choose these styles that you alleging is protecting your hair, but what you're doing is you're suffocating your follicle. And that follicle is doing strange things. A lot of times we're getting psoriasis and we're getting inflammation on our scalp. And we create these environments on our scalp that causes our follicle not to be able to function because it can't breathe. If you hold your nose for a certain amount of time and close your mouth for a certain amount of time, you already know what's going to happen. We do that to our follicle, and we wonder why our hair is shedding, breaking, and going through so many different changes, all because your follicle needs oxygen. Another reason why your follicle needs oxygen is because oxygen delivers nutrients to your hair. The oxygen, you need that oxygen to even bring in those minerals and whatever it is that you're putting or serving in your hair regimen, whether it's through your shampoo, whether it's through your oils, whether it's through your sprays, whatever it is you are trying to give your hair for your hair to be able to function and to be able to move differently, it needs oxygen to even deliver it. And I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, because it's that's how our body works. When you take a vitamin, or you take an iron pill, or you take a mineral, whatever you're taking as a supplement, oxygen has to deliver it to those cells to allow us to feel better and to feel the results of those vitamins, minerals, nutrients, whatever it is that we're giving ourselves. Your hair follicle is the same exact way. As a matter of fact, we tend to separate our scalp and our hair follicle from our body. And in fact, it's one and the same. It's connected to one another. That same vitamin that you're taking to increase your energy or to make you more vibrant during the day, it's the same vitamin and it's the same oxygen that's needed to bring it to your body, to bring it to your follicle, to bring it to your bloodstream. That bloodstream fuels your follicle. It's all the same system. It's in different regions. Yeah, the head is here, my legs are here, my stomach is here, my spleen is here, but it's all the same system. It's like with a car, right? You notice that when one thing breaks down in your car, if you don't get it fixed in a certain amount of time, it kind of dominoes and it kind of like metastasizes all through the car. Like it'll be this break and then that breaks, because it's all one system. It's designed to work together. So I say that to say your follicle needs to breathe. You have to keep in consideration when you say, I'm getting a protective style, I'm getting this to protect my hair. Consider how your follicle is being affected by the style that you choose. And last but not least, your follicle need to breathe to promote your scalp health. How do you style your hair? How do you focus on your hair so much and you haven't thought about your scalp, which holds it? It's the base of your hair. And a lot of times our scalp go through these monstrous processes. I'm talking flaking, bleeding, scaling, redness, sores. It's bananas. And it's a lot of times because we're not focusing on that follicle. If you focus on your follicle, meaning a lot of times with the styles that we're choosing for our hair, you have to allow a certain amount of time for your hair to breathe. Sometimes we take things out, we put it right back in. We take things out, we put it right back in. We take a weave out, we put it right back in. We put our braids out, we put it right back in. We put our wig off, we put the wig back on. It's constantly. That follicle can't breathe for a day. And when you take your weaves off and you take the wig, you got this flakiness, you got this scaling at your scalp. And a lot of times people are like, listen, I don't care, I don't have time to deal with it. That is a choice to make. But it's important for you to understand what is happening. Even sometimes if your hair is not in a condition, right, that you can even wear your hair out, like wear it naturally. Maybe you have alopecia, or maybe you have like certain things going on with your scalp. You really can't, visibly present yourself to the world in that way. What you can do is when you are in between styles, you can remove whatever's in your hair and you can actually wear like a wrap for even throughout the day in your home. Even if you're getting your hair done, say the following week, if you wrap your hair, you know what I mean? And just like maybe oil your scalp, like allow that scalp to get some air, some oxygen, because a lot of times we don't allow it at all. It's nothing happening. And there are certain styles that you can get where that follicle can breathe at the same time. But it's important that you have a conversation with your stylist to go into that area. That's why it's important to have a cosmetologist on your hair instead of just a hairstylist. You can have both. And I say that because the cosmetologist is aware and they're knowledgeable about the infrastructure of your hair. That follicle, that cuticle layer, that cortical layer, that medulla layer, and all of their functions and how that affects your hairstyling and how you look, how you feel. It is important. So having a hairstylist is great, but it's so much more important to have a cosmetologist. You want somebody that's skilled, yes, with their styling skills, but you need somebody that's skilled in terms of hair care and scalp care, and that know how to work with you and teach you how to do that on a continuous basis. It's not going to happen overnight, but you want someone that's going to put you on a trajectory that's going to help my hair in the next year or so to be better than it is now, or even in the next few months. So that scalp needs oxygen. I promise you, yet that follicle needs oxygen. And when we don't allow our hair to breathe, we have this term like, let your hair breathe, let your hair breathe. That is a real thing. It's a real thing to let your hair breathe. Because if you don't, it creates an environment for something that's so crazy that we get frustrated. And that is why we just cover our hair up and we just hide our hair. And we hide it under this guise of, I'm protective. It's a protective style. It's a protective style. It's not a protective style. That is not protective style. That's hiding. That's like hitting. That's like putting your costume on your hair. You're hiding it. It's a disguise. That's it. So I just wanted to encourage you, like, just to pay attention to your hair, your scalp in particular, your follicle in particular. That follicle, where that scalp, where that hair, where your hair starts to protrude from your scalp. Pay attention to that. The inflammation, the swelling, the itchiness, the rashing, it is telling you something about your hair and what you need to do moving forward. So I thank you for listening to this video. This is the Bajo channel, the home of self-care, beauty, wellness, and any and everything that'll help you to become the most empowered version of you. Again, remember that self-care is the best care. Later.